Good afternoon, everyone. And firstly, we need to thank Janine so much. Thank you so much for having me here on the call and this webinar. I'm super excited. Welcome. We're going to spend about 45 minutes together and go over those exact topics that Janine has kindly mapped out for us. So do hang in there. Congratulations to you for actually showing up today and making sure that you can watch this webinar. We're here today to talk about LinkedIn and how we can be better positioned for our next job. So today, know thyself, how to use LinkedIn correctly when on the job hunt. Let's spark your interest around what is LinkedIn, why LinkedIn, right? So some stats and figures. LinkedIn is an amazing platform for professionals. Every 2 seconds, 2 professionals join the platform. Exponential growth. LinkedIn is at about, I think they say 700 million users. So think about it. All professionals are going onto the platform. It's a must need. A little bit of more extra insight into those 700 million people. The demographic is upper management class, right? So we can see over here, 61 million are senior level influencers. 6 million are the C-suite executives. So we need to get in front of these people if they're spending their time on the platform, right? Another interesting fact is B2B marketeers, business to business marketeers, say LinkedIn is the #1 platform to distribute content, right? Really think about that. So it's the platform where B2B marketeers are spending a lot of time. Another interesting fact is executives rate it the #1 place to gain information. So this is our guys at F&B. This is our guys at, big startups, small startups all around the world. They're like, I go onto LinkedIn and spend my most time there because that's the best place to get professionally related content. Let me keep going, I'm going to keep telling you LinkedIn is the best, right? So next thing, when generating leads, when businesses want to grow their business and make sure that they get leads, they get the best results. By far, look at this, 80% more on LinkedIn. And finally, LinkedIn generates the most social traffic. So what that means is if we take a funnel, this is a funnel, and all the social traffic, all the information that comes onto the social platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn drives the most traffic out of all of those platforms. Take a look at the pie here, right? So it just means that LinkedIn is your go-to platform when it comes to professionally related content. So again, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me today. We're going to go over this first section in 20 minutes, where we're going to be speaking about how to set up your LinkedIn profile to be employee ready. That's a bit of my team. Again, welcome. Thank you. I have a company called 365 DigiSales, and we're a digital experience company that focuses on growing African businesses sales. Before we set up your profile, I want to dig into your mindset, right? Janine.
Yes.
That mindset. Mindset is super important. Before we even set up that profile, we need to be client-focused and employee-focused, right? We don't need to be focused on ourselves. So that mindset needs to be like, when I walk into a restaurant, when I walk in, the chef or the waitress are thinking about me. Hey, where would you like to sit? What would you like to have, right? That's exactly how we need to have the mindset when we're thinking about setting up our profile. We need to be client-centric or employee-centric, thinking about what my employee would want from me. And I want you to also think of you as a product. Think of yourself as this very valuable product, right? That can solve problems. And if we think about what client centricity is client centricity is an approach to doing business that focuses on creating a positive experience for the customer. Client-centric businesses ensure that customers are at the center of their business philosophy and operation. So I put this in the context of a business because the same thing when you're setting up your profile as an employee. You need to think about the employee, who's the employer, who's looking at the best candidate to solve other people's problems. So set up the philosophy of thinking about your employer. Employer, 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 right? Not yourself. Now let's get into that. But again, who is your dream employer, right? We need to think about, who do you really want to work for? Like, who's James, who's Tuli? Who are these owners that you want to work for? And how do you profile them? And you need to ask yourself these questions, right? And the questions you need to ask is, what are the characteristics of my employer? Like, what company size is my employer? What industry are they in? And where can I find them? Most likely on LinkedIn. As well as, who is the real decision maker in that section of who I want to work with, right? And to make this very easy, you can go onto this website called HubSpot Make My Persona, and it's going to ask you questions around this specific thing. So like, what size of company is it? What industry do you want to work? I want to work in finance, you know? And it creates this fictitious person, so that when we move into point number 1, when setting up your profile, you know, or you can actually anticipate what would be most suited for my next employee to land on my profile. So for instance, I've done some coding. I'm this amazing coder, right? I know that I've got the best skills when it comes to solving entrepreneurs' issues through good websites, through good applications. And I've thought about that. And what would an employee want from me? They would want to see creativity, right? They want to see maybe possible references to apps or thoughts that you have in that space. You can actually put an image in your cover to speak to that. So basically what I'm trying to say is a bit of a soft ad, right? Brand your abilities, right? So this guy, he's probably a speaker, and he was maybe at a conference, and he luckily got a photo of himself in a branding, right? But another example is, let's say you've worked alongside other NGOs, right? Or you've worked alongside other little projects. You can get the branding and put them up here, right? Put them in, right? Or
Brilliant.
you can also, if you already know your skill set, you know, you are already employable, right? And you know exactly what you specialize in. HTML, web apps, really. And then, you know, I believe putting yourself front and center, right? Get a photo of yourself and yourself, because you are your own brand, right? Confidence. Can also go and do that. Or again, if you had an opportunity of speaking in front of your classmates and they got that photo, get that photo, go into Canva and, you know, recreate something very creative around your specialties. Another one is, if you're a social media light and you already have a lot of social channels and you maybe have already a small influencer following, recruiters really want to know you, right? They want to know as much as they can. So if you confidently say, hey, go check out my Instagram, go check out my Twitter, you know, they then go check you out and be like, this person, you know, they understand social media. They've got already a following, you know. I feel like there's somebody who's already able to understand how the world works online, right? So go tell your employee where they can find a little bit more about you. I find this very strong, very, 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 very strong. And the last one, you know, if you're quirky, if you're bold enough to just go out and share around your personality, right? Go ahead and do it. It just really depends on what you're trying to achieve in terms of your employability. Very strong place to start when branding yourself on LinkedIn. How does that sound, Janine?
It's absolutely incredible. And I love these very actionable tools that you've given us. And it's something that you could do in an afternoon.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
It doesn't require rocket science. And it's just so crystal clear.
Yeah, exactly. So that's step 1, right? Set up your cover photo. Step 2, I'm going to keep this very simple, right? Don't catfish yourself. Get a nice clear photo. It doesn't have to be with you in a suit and tie. I would even encourage something like this guy. Clear white background, you smiling. Maybe show some teeth, but that's it. Don't overthink it. Step 2. Step 3 is your contact details. Again, here, keep it as simple as possible. But when I say simple, right, there's a difference in things being simple, right, and things being innovative or doing things fast. Simple things aren't always easy. And the simplest things we don't do, like putting in your contact details. Please put in your email address, put in your number, even put your cell phone number in there. And that's about it for now, right? Why? If you treat your LinkedIn as let's say a website, the rule of websites is that if I'm attracted and I want to get in contact, I need to be there. There needs to be 2 clicks so that I know what to do. So if the employee or employer is ready to engage with you, they go and click on contact details. What do they see? Maybe they only see LinkedIn profile, no website, no email address, no number. You've lost out on your opportunity, you know? So yeah, important. Contact details. Step 4 is now the headline. Very, very, very important. So what this is over here is this real estate right under your name, right? Now, I want to show you examples of people in the business space that are a product, right? And I also, again, the mindset as an as a new incoming employee is you're a product. What value can you provide? So his status is finance business partner. And what does he do? He helps business owners simply achieve more through hands-on financial services. If we have to think about, if I was going into the job market, right, and I'm set up my LinkedIn profile, I will actually put in digital sales ready employee, or looking to be in the digital sales space, then a line. You can go ahead and write the value you see that you're going to have for the South African market. So for instance, digital sales ready employee looking for opportunities to scale startups through modern day selling, right?
Wow. Powerful right. And punchy.
You know, and a recruiter is going to be like, whoa, okay, digital sales wants to help startups, you know, and maybe even specifically South African startups. Really position yourself as a product, but open up with being open to, like, I'm in the market looking for a job. I would even just say in the market for particular job, right? Line. I believe the value I can bring is second to none, having studied at the best university, right? So really think about that. And here's a few other headlines, people, you know, showing where they've worked. Even this one, he went and wrote an objective question. If you believe that you have value and for your next employer, you can go and ask them, have you thought about why you're not winning on social media? Line, I'm ready to help you and your company win more on social media, right? Really think about yourself as a product. Right, step 5, we're halfway through. Your summary, storytelling. This is the section over here, right? This section right about you, right? I think this is very, very, very important, right? I think you should be tweaking this up as, I think you should actually have 3. You should have 3 different summaries. Why? Because at a stage, you will be, you know, fashioning yourself as somebody for a specific industry to a specific recruiters for the next 3 months looking for your job. You need to speak to that recruiter. And 3 months later, maybe you don't have your next job. You fashion that next summary with keywords that recruiter would want to see, right? But do you remember what we spoke about at the top, Janine? What was our first subject?
Well, right at the beginning, it was that you should totally focus your entire focus should be on your employer. So not being narcissistic and making it focused about the other. But I think you might be referring to something else.
Nope.
So,
I'm going to give you 100% right. Ding, ding, ding. 100% right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Focusing on your employer. So exactly when you're thinking of your employer, the best thing to do when writing up your summary is do the same thing, right? Have their best interest in mind and tell a story to them.
And that's exactly what our students have been missing so far. Sorry to interrupt you, Jason, is so far it's been about what I want and what I can get, but it's so much about that orientation, like you said, problem solving, thinking about yourself as a product and thinking about what you can solve for the employer.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So that's exactly it. And I think this is something that you're going to need to go and sit in a quiet place and write a story to yourself or to your favorite employee. Have them in mind, sit in front of them and write that story. And limit yourself to a certain amount of characters, but don't limit yourself to the creativity, right? And here's a little bit of a formula I use is, what strong impact statement could I start the story off with? How can I aggravate that story and that punchline? What solution do I have to that punchline? Is there any type of reference or proof of concept? And get in touch with me, sort of a call to action. So, I'm going to give this a try and see if I can fashion something out. So let's see. The new normal has made it difficult for recruiters to really trust their next employee. Punchline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, recruiters are going to be like, well, oh, yeah, that's so true, because now everything, we do Zoom meetings, you don't meet face-to-face anymore, right? So a recruiter sees that, maybe, okay, fine. And then you keep going and you aggravate that issue. Zoom meetings, Hangout meetings, do they have internet connection? These are probably some of the problems that employees and employers are experiencing, right? Then they're like, oh, yeah, so true. Well, this is the digital age we live in. I've been born into the digital. I think I understand what digital is. And this is why I studied digital marketing at one of the best universities in South Africa. I'm ready to apply my knowledge and skill set, not only for you as an employee with XYZ company, but for South Africa, because things online is one of the things, things online is how I'm going to play my part in building a better South Africa. Right? And now that's the solution. You are the solution. A little bit of reference. Hey, just to let you know, during my university days, I actually started an application. We did XYZ. It was really cool. It didn't work too well, but I learned a lot of things. This is why I'm pushing to be in this space. I'm ready to chat. Here's my number. Here's my email. Hashtag employable. Hashtag ready to be employed. So yeah, that's a little bit of a story, right? That you could push out. And I really do think that is how you can fashion a better experience for your recruiter. Instead of, hi, I'm Jane. I am the best. I studied this. I did that. And oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you. This is different. This is edgy. This sets you apart. Yes. The other one is the orthodox version, which doesn't get any eyeballs on your page, whereas this is a definite way for a potential recruiter to see what you can offer them, what you can contribute to their bottom line, and why they should interview you.
Exactly. So one thing to also note is, when you see this profile, you're only going to see the first 2 lines. This is why I start off with something very strong, right? This is why I said start off with an impact statement. You just came up with a really nice idea yourself there, where it's like, why should you employ me? Imagine you write that there. Why should you employ me? That's the first line, question mark.
Why should you pay me?
Why should you pay me? Exactly. You know, very objective. I like that. And another thing is, I like to try bring in a bit of personality at the bottom of your summary. Viva South Africa, viva one of your languages, viva your culture. Put something in that really brings it home. I used to have something written there: a healthy mind equals a healthy mind equals a healthy. Well, why has it lost me? A healthy mind equals a healthy body equals a healthy mind, right? Equals, hey, I'm a sports fanatic. Please forgive me, right? Try things. Really do try things, and also be as personal as possible. Number 6 is your current and past experience. So what that means is, if you've worked other internships, if you've run your own little startup, I highly recommend you put that in there, but nicely, right? Write a nice story too. You go ahead and put your position. You hopefully can link the company that you may have worked with, but write a little story like this: what I did or what I do, why it matters, my story, and the specialties. Very key, very, 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 very key. And this style helps a recruiter's eyes. But the moment you just put something there, worked at this company in XYZ, it's like your CV, remember? Your CV needs to be neat and tell a story. So does your LinkedIn. If you take a look at this guy, over here, he's the head of Twitter, right? He's also set up his LinkedIn for his next job, if you think about it, right? He's currently working at the company. He's told everybody what he's responsible for, right? The skills he's gained and the achievements. What does his next employee do? Come here and see, wow, this guy's a star, right? I like him. Same with you. You're going to get your first job or you're going to get your next job. Make sure that you update your LinkedIn with the skills you gained or the skills you're gaining, the achievements, a little bit of a humble brag, but check this. This guy is literally setting himself up for success for his next job.
And for being headhunted, potentially.
That too. Yes, that too. All right. We're on to number 7 and number 8, education and skills and endorsements. So I'm going to move over this one quite quickly. Why? Because we should put our education in correctly, right? Hyperlink this university that you went to, put in any achievements, but keep it as simple as possible, but put your education in place and keep it up to date, right? Next one is how not to do it, right? How not to put your education in here. So yes, she's put everything there, but she hasn't linked the school correctly. There's 2 things that could have happened there. That the school either doesn't have a LinkedIn page or she hasn't linked it properly. My suggestion there is actually go hit up your school. Be like, hi guys, you guys don't have a LinkedIn page. Would you want me to set it up? Wow. Maybe you're setting yourself up for your next job. Like, your little freelance. Hey, I charge 1,200 Rand to do it. I can do it in the next 24 hours. Cool. There's no sin in trying that, hitting up the admin, right? So do think about it because it's not as neat compared to, having all the schools correctly. Let's go to number 8, skills and endorsements. What I think here, it's a bit of a vanity metrics, but what you need to be doing when setting up your skills is only thinking about 10 to 12 hard and soft skills, right? Only 10 to 12. But then you're going to be like, oh, okay, which ones? What was the first thing we spoke about, Janine?
Again, making it all about the employer. So all about them.
Exactly. What would your employer want you to be skilled in? Social media, leadership, project management. Like again, I said, between soft and hard skills. Make sure we can cover both of them. 10 to 12. But how amazing is this lady over here? Wow, she's rocking it, Everything is 99. Yeah.
And Jason, how do we get those recommendations? Not recommendations, but the endorsements. How do we go about getting that? Particularly if people are endorsing us in a category that we don't want to be endorsed in, or we don't want to promote that so much.
Yes, yeah. So you have the choice to show the ones you want. You don't show anything else. That's why I say keep it 10 to 12 of your choice, right? And how do you go about getting people to like click there? It's a bit of a tricky one. Firstly, you can go and ask your friends and family to go and endorse you, right? And this is what we'll get to the next section. The moment you start engaging on LinkedIn and sharing and so forth, it naturally comes in. But yeah, it's tough to get skills and endorsements. But if you put the right ones there, and even if they like have one or two, at least you have the right ones there. From experience, people have Word, Excel, public speaking. Okay, but they spelled public speaking wrong. Oh no. You know? Then web developers might put in HQML, right? Your boss might not even know that as a software development company because he's built up a software development company. What do? Build applications, right? Web applications, right? You really need to think about your employer. He might not even know your coding course, but he's going to employ you. Make it as simple as possible. Right?
Absolutely.
So number 9, highly recommend number 9. Sorry for the pun.
Yes.
So this one is a must, please.
A must. Oh my word, the most important piece.
Yes.
It's social credibility.
100%.
It's social capital.
Exactly. So what we have here is recommendation. So it's just like when you go and ask your favorite lecturer, can you write a recommendation for me? The same for LinkedIn. And you can take a look at this guy over here. After every sales talk, he goes and says, hey, if you like something, all I would love for you to go and do is write a recommendation for me. But it's the same for you. The same way you go and ask your lecturer, hey, Mr. Mtuli, I'm about to get my next job. I'd love a short recommendation from you just to support my application. You can do the same thing and find Mr. Mtuli on LinkedIn. Go into his profile, right? Like let's say Rose was my lecturer. Click on request a recommendation. A little screen's going to come up and it's going to say, where did you either work together, or was Rose a mentor to you, or was Rose a teacher? Yeah, Rose was my teacher, right? Or your former employer for this, in terms of a internship, same process, right? And then, so then that's what you're going to do. And basically, my advice there is don't just click and then say, a little pop-up comes and says, hi, Rose, please write me a recommendation, send. No. Edit that, right?
Make it personal.
Yes. Why, what, how? Why are you writing this to me? What is it all about? And how can I really get involved, right? Why, what, how? Every recommendation. And close off with being like, Rose, I know that you might be busy. If I must, let me know if I can draft up the recommendation and you add in your personality, because people are busy. It sounds weird. It sounds weird that you do this, but if you're thinking about, again, that person and their busyness, they will be like, oh, wow. Yes, Janine, please write most of it and I will add my extra toothpiece.
That's such a brilliant piece of advice.
Yeah.
Who will say no?
Exactly. Who would say no? Exactly. Right? And it also shows the intention. Like you really need this, right? You really do need it. All right. We're on to number 10, the last one. Right? So the last one is interest. So the fact that you're going to be spending a bit more time on LinkedIn, I believe that you need this platform to feed you the right information, right? You don't need it to be feeding you nonsense. So the best thing to do is go into your LinkedIn and start following your best influencers, your best companies. Follow your employers' companies, right? Follow their competitors, so that
Yes.
when you jump onto LinkedIn, you're getting educated around what's happening around these companies. Super, super important.